Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of Strictly Commercial. Today's topic, Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Because it is Groundhog Days.
It is Groundhog Day.
Day.
Hank, what did our little furry friend Phil see when he came out of the old cracker box? Yeah, Phil.
Phil, is that his name?
Yeah, Phil. Phil from, I believe it's Honks Tony or something like that. Honks Tony. He saw his shadow, so that of course means we will have 6 more weeks of winter.
Long dread winter, I hate. We'll get into that a little later.
We'll get into that a little bit later. So what do you guys think about that? You know,
So how's that going to affect us? How's that going to affect our life?
Personally, I mean, I don't really rely on the groundhog to decide my fate with the winter. I mean, it's just not my cup of tea, per se.
Yeah, well, I would say I've lived about 23 winters or so, and you know, every time they say he sees his shadow, and we always have 6 more weeks.
I don't think I've ever heard them say that he has not seen his shadow.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened, but
wait, does it happen from like just the way the sun's hitting his body?
I think it's a bunch of two-tony baloney.
Is that how they measure it though?
When was the last time that varmint didn't see a shadow?
That's a good question.
Do they measure it from the sun? Is that how they do it?
Well, they don't do it. The groundhog.
They let them naturally come out?
They let the groundhog come out, and then they have what is called the groundhog whisperer. He actually knows how to talk groundhog. I think it's called chucklage. Chucklage.
Sounds right.
Sounds
right.
And that person talks to the groundhog. In this case, Phil. I'm sure there's one named Barney somewhere. And then he, you know, dictates that forecast to the public.
And then it's actually signed off by the mayor of Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney, yes. He signs off and says 6 more weeks of cold winter shit.
Now, do you think that the groundhog gets benefits for being that chosen groundhog to do that? Is he living like outdoors, or does he have an inside habitat with you know, fresh vegetables?
I think they hibernate.
Okay. They hibernate?
They hibernate, and they probably come out and,
you know,
I mean, he probably has a pretty good city job, you know.
Good government benefits.
Yeah, some good benefits. Probably full health.
Full health care. Full vet care.
Vet care,
Pretty much.
Health care, that's health care.
He's pampered.
He's pampered.
Definitely pampered. Definitely pampered.
Definitely pampered. So yeah, I mean,
he has not only cable in his den, but he has DVR.
Do you think they have like a whole like basement full of dirt facilitated for his hole digging?
I think it's a big mansion down there.
Dirt?
In the dirt, yes. I think he's got a harem of squirrels or whatever the fuck he... Well, if you're a groundhog, would you just like groundhog? Or would you like,
if I was
rabbit, perhaps?
If I was filled with a groundhog, I would probably wear mink as my fur.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably bang a lot of other groundhogs, maybe some muskrats. Throw a beaver in there.
I would like the beaver, yeah.
Pretty much.
He more conquers beavers and other varmints.
Well, he's a celebrity of the varmints.
Yeah.
Rodents, small ground-dwelling animals.
It's probably the most...
Prestigious.
Prestigious?
Yeah.
What about that or the hare?
What hare?
You know, the proverbial hare, the rabbit?
No. A typical groundhog is shit. But the groundhog that gets to come out and debate whether or not we're going to have 6 weeks of winter is like the celeb of the varmints.
The varmints. Yeah. So that's the top celeb. What about Peter Cottontail?
He doesn't... Where's he at?
And he eats the fucking shit out of my garden every year.
And why isn't his shadow important?
He's not the groundhog. Groundhog's
well,
dead.
he doesn't have that kind of power. So are we saying... You're saying the groundhog is the most powerful...
Varmint.
Celebrity-wise.
Not like dictator of varmints. I would have to say probably a
weasel?
No.
Is a weasel a varmint? If we get someone to look into that.
I want to look into that, and I want to look into where the groundhog originated from and why they picked the groundhog.
Is he like the Ponce de Leon Ponce.
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 Ponce Tony. Is he like the Ponce de Leon of varmint?
I don't even know what that means.
Is it like
to
like
dream the impossible dream.
Was
The
that,
Don
oh,
Juan.
Ponce de Leon. Wasn't he
an
that
explorer?
cra-
I thought he was an explorer.
Yeah, he was
And a
looking-
conqueror.
Yeah.
Conqueror, yeah.
He
Of
was looking-
varmint. Well, not of varmint. Well,
He probably thought of him as varmints.
the people equivalent of varmint.
I don't know. I think the king of varmints might be like the dictator of varmints might be the beaver.
I would say the rat.
No.
He's
No, the
fucking
rats
dirty.
at the bottom of the food
Yeah,
chain.
rats shit, dude. Beavers block rivers with their fucking teeth and wood and tails.
Their teeth, wooden tails.
They teeth the
Dam
teeth
up
the
the
wood,
rivers.
and then they bat it with their tail. Do they physically bat the wood with their tail? Is that what
It's
they
kind of
use
like this.
Is that what they use that flat tail for?
I thought they used it as a warning mechanism when, other creatures that prey upon their kinfolk in the area.
No.
But
Groundhog.
it also for swimming.
You cut off a beaver's tail. Is it a groundhog? Is it the same body? Same body.
Essentially.
Bigger teeth. Right.
I think they're essentially the same.
Now, would you say that the groundhog kind of has power over humans because it decides whether or not we have 6 weeks of winter, and everyone's like, "Oh my god."
Personally, I had never paid attention to it.
Some people do.
Someone does. So I would say, over those idiots out there, yes. The groundhog has power
Mystic.
over
Mystic
power over idiots.
For all you know, though,
Just like Rush Limbaugh has power over idiots as well.
Yes.
He's kind of like a groundhog. He's more like
Rush
a
Limbaugh
fucking-
has some good.
I don't know.
He's got some good points sometimes.
Rush. Have you heard the man? I particularly haven't heard the man. Just from.
I've heard the man. He's very right-sided per se, but he's
I think he's an idiot.
I heard he's very knowledgeable about football.
I heard he sucks dick for coke.
No, that's for Oxycontin.
Oh, God.
But he thinks that all people that that do drugs.
Is that hippie
Deserve
heroin?
to go to-
Is Oxycontin?
No, that's hillbilly heroin.
Hillbilly.
Oh, hillbilly.
Hillbilly, yeah. Different.
The
names.
hippie heroin is the nitrous.
I think it's just
Opiate.
hippie heroin.
Opiate.
It's just heroin.
nitrous.
It's probably heroin. Nitrous.
Nitrous.
At
Nitrous.
those music,
Medical
the
nitrous.
music fests that everyone goes to in the summer.
Those little balloons. I would not have no experience with those, but that's what I hear.
Well, I mean, you're not considered a hippie though, are you?
I don't consider myself a hippie.
I'll tell you what. This whole debacle, sham, that we call Groundhogs Day, is going to give me 6 more weeks of dreading getting out of the shower.
I know that's the worst part about
That's true.
winter.
That's true.
Now, you know what? I've been waiting to take off the bathing suit in the shower, but now I gotta go 6 more weeks of showering with a bathing suit.